Can you imagine the horror of waking up from surgery only to find out something went terribly, terribly wrong? In cases like Willie King's, a simple mix-up changed lives forever, but no spoilers yet. If you want to learn more about some of the most shocking medical mistakes ever recorded, stick with me. Today, we're diving into the 7 worst medical errors that left a mark on history. The wrong leg amputation. Imagine waking up from surgery only to realize that something is horribly wrong. In 1995, Willie King went to the hospital to have an infected leg removed, but his nightmare began when he found out the doctors had amputated the wrong leg. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of fixing the issue, the doctors caused irreversible damage. This mistake, which sounds like a scene from a horror movie, exposed serious flaws in medical safety protocols. It was later revealed that there was a mix-up in the records and a lack of proper checks, allowing the error to go unnoticed until it was too late. Willie was left not only with the wrong leg amputated, but also with the emotional pain and devastating impact of this negligence on his life. After this case, hospitals around the world implemented new practices to ensure this kind of mistake would never happen again. Today, before any surgery, the correct area to operate is marked on the patient's body to avoid another such shocking error. And if you think this was a grave mistake, just wait until you see the next cases. The deadly radiation of Therac-25. Radiation therapy is supposed to heal, not harm. But for patients treated with the Therac-25 machine in the 1980s, it became a nightmare. What should have been a safe and controlled procedure turned deadly due to a simple software error. A small flaw in the code allowed the machine to bypass safety mechanisms if instructions were entered too quickly. The result? Patients suffered severe burns, radiation poisoning, and, in some cases, didn't survive. Something designed to save lives ended up becoming a deadly threat. The Therac-25 case exposed the urgent need for rigorous software testing in medical devices and led to critical changes in safety protocols. It seems impossible that such a small flaw could cause so much harm, but that's exactly what happened. The forgotten scissors. Imagine going through surgery, expecting relief, only to experience unbearable pain afterward. That's exactly what happened to Pat Skinner, a 69-year-old Australian woman who underwent a routine procedure but woke up to a nightmare. After the operation, she felt an inexplicable and increasingly intense pain. Weeks later, after insisting that something was wrong, the doctors finally took an X-ray. The result? A 17-centimeter pair of scissors had been left in her abdomen. This error is hard to believe. It sounds like a scene from a movie. Throughout her suffering, doctors repeatedly told her the pain was normal post-surgery, but the truth was far more disturbing. To fix the mistake, Pat had to undergo a second surgery, which brought even more complications. This case exposes the dangers of an error that seems absurd, yet unfortunately, is real. Leaving instruments inside a patient is more common than one might think, and it led to changes in surgical protocols to ensure no object is ever forgotten. And if you thought this mistake was shocking, brace yourself for the next one. It shows just how devastating negligence can be. The Bloodgate scandal. You go to the hospital for a life-saving blood transfusion, but instead, you receive something far more dangerous. In the 1980s, the UK faced the infamous Bloodgate scandal, where thousands of patients, many of them hemophiliacs, were infected with HIV and hepatitis C through contaminated blood. It sounds unimaginable, doesn't it? In an effort to quickly boost blood supply, authorities began importing blood from high-risk donors in the US, including prison inmates. The impact was devastating. Around 5,000 people were infected, many losing their lives, while others faced lifelong consequences. This was more than a medical failure. It was a crisis that shattered public trust in healthcare and government. Bloodgate became a wake-up call, resulting in stricter regulations and rigorous donor screening. This scandal stands as a stark reminder of how one poor decision can leave scars that last a lifetime. The woman found alive in the morgue. Imagine this: you're a morgue worker, finishing a routine shift in Carletonville, South Africa, and you approach a body to complete the final paperwork. Suddenly, something makes you stop. Something that defies everything you expect when standing over a person pronounced dead. The woman is breathing. This woman was the victim of a tragic accident, declared dead at the scene. The paramedics, after examining her, believed there were no signs of life. Her body was taken to the morgue, where she would be prepared for her final rest. But before she could be placed in the refrigeration unit, the surprise, she was alive. The news spread like wildfire. How could something like this happen? The manager of the emergency service responsible, Distress Alert, was quick to say that there was no error due to lack of training, that the team used all available resources and found no signs of life. However, the shock didn't fade. Authorities in the Gauteng region launched an investigation to understand where the system had failed. This wasn't the first time, either. Just 2 years earlier, a similar incident occurred when a man was also found breathing in the morgue, only to pass away a few hours later. The deadly Dalin Shield cardiac implant. The Dalin Shield is remembered as one of the biggest medical scandals of the 1970s. An intrauterine device, IUD designed for contraception that, instead of providing protection, caused serious complications for thousands of women. But there's a lesser-known chapter in this story, the case of the cardiac implants created by the same company, A.H. Robbins. These implants, developed to support and monitor heart function, also proved to be extremely dangerous. The Dalin Shield cardiac implants were intended to assist patients with heart problems, but design and safety flaws put lives at risk. Some patients who trusted these devices ended up suffering from fatal arrhythmias and heart failures instead of receiving the heart support they needed. The issue became so severe that the company faced massive lawsuits and the device was pulled from circulation. The Dalin Shield scandal ultimately cost many patients their health and, in some cases, their lives. With a combination of negligence and safety failures, this device left a dark mark on the history of medicine. Seratus, the surgery that should have been painless. A tonsillectomy is considered a simple and quick procedure, something thousands undergo without a second thought. But for Seratus, a 23-year-old from London, this operation turned into an unexpected nightmare. In the middle of the procedure, as a laser was used on her throat, Sarah realized, to her horror, that she was awake. She could feel everything, yet her body remained paralyzed, held down by the anesthesia that was supposed to keep her unconscious. Those 15 minutes of intense pain and total helplessness left an indelible mark. Unable to alert the doctors, Sarah endured silent agony, utterly vulnerable. The psychological impact was devastating. Sarah developed post-traumatic stress disorder, had to leave her job, and began suffering from frequent panic attacks. Though she received financial compensation, nothing could erase the trauma of experiencing such terror in a moment meant to be safe. The surgery that should have brought relief became a dark memory, a constant reminder of a mistake that changed her life. Thank you for joining us on this journey through some of the most shocking medical errors in history. If these stories left you as stunned as they left us, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Share with friends who love a good mystery, and let us know in the comments which case surprised you the most. Until next time.